G'day all, Shell Strike here, hope you're having a great day. Welcome back to another Helldivers II video. In this one we are looking at patch 01000300 released as of yesterday, and boy oh boy is it a big one. As usual, I will link the patch notes down in the description and you can check out the notes there if you like. We'll go through them with the bug fixes as well. But in this one, they've made improvements and changes to the following areas: balance changes to weapons, stratagems, enemies, and change it to the spread democracy mission, which is the mission where you have to raise the flag. So balancing, so general armor with armor rating above 100 now also reduces damage on headshots, so that's nice. Victory poses now only play for the extracted, no stolen valor on my ship. Burning damage reduced by 15%. Changes to primary, secondary and support weapons. So CV9 exploding crossbow, slightly smaller explosion, increased stagger, decreased number of maximum mags from 12 to 8, which is unfortunate because I thought it actually had quite a good balance there, so that's basically been reduced. Increased number of magazines received from resupply from 6 to 8. Slightly reduction in ergonomics, muzzle velocity is increased. The LAS-99 Quasar, increased recharge time by 5 seconds. Now, you might see in the video playing in the background, I've actually, this mission here I'm playing is a Helldive, and I've actually got the Quasar. This is post-patch, so you can see the difference there in the Quasar. VR14 Adjudicator, full auto is now the default fire mode, reduced recoil, increased maximum mags from 6 to 8, increased number of magazines received from resupply from 6 to 8, now placed amongst assault rifles. The LAS-98 laser cannon, slightly increased damage, slightly reduced damage versus large volume bodies. The SG-8P Punisher Plasma, decreased maximum mags from 12 to 8, increased amount of magazines received from resupply from 6 to 8, increased projectile speed but will still keep a similar range, decreased damage fall off on the explosion, now placed in the energy weapons category. So there's been a few adjustments, they've moved a few of these weapons around into different categories. I probably think that they belong there better than where they currently were. Arc 12 Blitzer, increased shots per minute from 30 to 45, now placed in the energy weapons category again. The R36 Eruptor, my favourite rifle, unfortunately has decreased number of maximum mags from 12 to 6, so that's halved. Explosion damage drop off slightly faster, so it looks like it's slightly worse than it was. LAS-16 Sickle, decreased the amount of magazines from 6 down to 3. Now, boy oh boy, a lot of these changes we've gone through, they've actually made reductions in the weapons, so far, yeah, not looking good. LAS-5 Scythe, increased damage from 3 to 350, that one's actually increased. Decreased maximum number of mags from 6 to 4, so a lot of decrease in mags. RS-422 Railgun, increased armor penetration on both safe mode and unsafe mode, stagger force slightly reduced. So you will not notice now when you shoot a Bile Titan with a railgun any stagger, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult to know whether you've hit it. But you know, if you're aiming right in the spot, you'll have hit it. But also increased armor penetration, so it's actually nerfed it, made it slightly better. MG101 Heavy Machine Gun, third person crosshair enabled. 63 CS Dillinger Counter Sniper, damage increased from 128 to 140, well it's not a huge amount, ergonomics improved. 63 Diligence, damage increased from 112 to 125. P19 Redeemer, slight increase in recoil, so it's going to be interesting because that's one of my favourite sidearms. P2 Peacemaker, increased damage from 60 to 75. P8 Senator, increased damage from 150 to 175. Speed loader added when reloading on an empty cylinder, speed up reload on empty considerably. So the P8 Senator has had a fast reload included. LAS-7 Dagger, increased damage from 150 to 200, so that's quite good. AR-19 Liberator, damage increased from 55 to 60. AR-23C Liberator concussive, damage increased from 55 to 65. JAR 5 Dominator, damage decreased from 300 to 275. So the JAR Dominator was another one of my favourites. AX AR-23 Guard Dog, decreased damage by 30%. Boy oh boy. RL-77 Airburst Rocket Launcher, which I said was going to be fixed in this patch in my reviews of the rocket launcher. Has had the airburst rocket launcher will no longer detonate when shot near stratagems, HMG turrets, sentries and resupplies and other Helldivers. Reduced proximity radius, so That's the change to the airburst rocket launcher. Stratagems, AMG 43 machine gun sentry, increased health to match other sentries. If you may have seen my video on blast absorption, the testing I did there, I noted that the machine gun sentry was quite weak, and definitely was weaker than the others, so hopefully that's now up with the other sentries. The Arc 3 Tesla tower increased health by 33%. Now that's going to be very interesting. I'm going to really like to give that a test down on the field. The FAF-14 Spear added reload stage reload after the spent missile has discarded. Okay, so they've made some changes to the reload. RL-77 airburst rocket launcher, as mentioned above. I don't know why they've got that there again, but so changes to enemies. Bile spewers and nursing spewers move speed slightly reduced. Good. Hulk's force required for them to stagger slightly increased. Bad. Hulk Scorcher direct flamethrower damage reduced by 20. Bad. Devastator fire rate slightly increased, only to the standard Devastator. Gunship sideways movement slightly increased. Scout Strider riders now less vulnerable to explosions. Fog generators health and armor increased. Gunship spawners now have much lower cap on how many gunships they can have active at the same time, so that's a good thing. Enemy patrols. Patrol spawning has been increased when there are fewer than 4 players. The fewer the players, the bigger the change. For the 4-player missions, there will be no change compared to before. The biggest notable change will be for solo players at higher difficulties. Wow, that's going to be interesting. I'll be interested to go on a few solo missions there. Gameplay. Made minor level generation improvements to how we distribute locations throughout the mission map. This should improve variation in distance between objectives, and objectives will likely not spawn as far away from each other as often before. Oh, that's good. So they're going to be closer together, the objectives. Added setting in the options menu gameplay section to disable automatic climbing and vaulting when sprinting. The Spread Democracy mission, otherwise known as Raise the Flag, can now be enjoyed on higher difficulties for maximum freedom spreading. That's going to be nice on higher levels, actually, particularly for solo. When readying up, Helldivers now salute to ensure maximum democratic readiness. Yeah, I saw that already. Added ambience to the tremor planetary hazard to underline the severity so Helldivers can react accordingly. That's interesting. Shots that ricochet from heavy armoured enemies will now properly hit the Helldiver who fired them. Trigger discipline is highly recommended. That's funny. So if you hit ricochets, they're gonna kill yourself, not necessarily the other players. So that's quite an interesting change as well. So the rest is just fixes and crash fixes. So as I mentioned, you can check those out in the link in the description. But overall, yeah, a lot of weapons and map mission activity and variations have been reduced. So seems like the game, I think they've done this basically because we've been melting through all of the major orders so easily. So maybe they've done all this to rebalance it, so it's a little bit harder for us to melt through those major orders, but that's just a theory of mine. But there you go, patch 01000300, that's all the changes there. As mentioned, link in the description. Thanks everyone for watching. Please remember to hit that like and subscribe. And as always, we'll catch you all on the next one. Bye-bye for now.